This is, I think, Anderson Wood on the 16th of April 2022, and this is the path through Anderson Wood connecting to Groats Road. Look at the destruction at Anderson Wood, heading for Groats Road. I think the path is actually blocked. It is blocked near Groats Road. But this is Anderson Wood, 16th of April 2022, springtime. And there's a sprinkling of rain starting through the mist and the fog by the Mackenzie Championship course, Hazelhead Golf Course. Let's just be clear. At the Mackenzie Championship course, Hazelhead Golf Course, there's surrounded by that, there's Denwood and Anderson Wood. Denwood is the wood on the path to Walker Dam alongside Countess Wells Road, just to be clear. And Anderson Wood is this way. It connects the path that runs through Hazelhead Park, past the golf course, along here, and connects to Groats Road. You need descriptions for clarity. Plain English communication to be understood. Get your voice heard in a crowded world. I mean, this is the 16th of April 2022. In essence, it's spring. Spring. Yellow gorse by Hazelhead Golf Course. Golfers playing from afar. Golfers enjoying a game of golf. In the mist and fog. A spring day. Spring doesn't feel like spring, but I guess you can get fog and mist in summer. In August, thunder and lightning tends to come in Scotland. Well, it did in the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021. 2020 caused a Stonehaven train derailment. Thunder and lightning, monsoon tropical climate in Scotland in August. That's my observation from capturing photos and video. Photos and video enable events in the climate to be observed better, clearer. You don't get that the same with weather forecasts, which help to predict the weather, but it doesn't capture weather events. Sanctuary Care, Pitcairn Lodge, Care Home at the Kirkton of Skene. Parked cars. That must be the carers. And it's by Kirkton House. What's happened to the boarded up windows? Not boarded up at this side? I imagine the cars belong to the carers. Once you reach a certain age, your eyesight starts to go and you're a danger on the road. But actually, doctors say people that are at risk to themselves and to others, they can be detained for up to 72 hours. Now, most people that drive cars are a risk to others. So really, if you go on bikes to work and cycle, the more people that do it, the safer the roads become. I mean, in the Netherlands, where it's often flat, lots of people go on bikes, and cycling is safe. It's seen as the primary mode of transport. The reality is, the more people that go on bikes, the safer the roads become. But Scotland is hilly, so going on bikes can be challenging. You really need to persist, put in effort. For great effort, there's always a reward. And the reward is an improvement in health. Smoking under the Scottish law of 2006 is legal in care homes, prisons and police stations. These are all the places that are exempt. Smoking in care homes. So it's legal to smoke in Sanctuary Care, Pitcairn Lodge, this care home. I mean, that might be why there were so many deaths in care homes during 2020. Care homes are an exempted place where smoking is allowed. How many people smoke in care homes is another question, because it might not be that common, but it might be. Cameras aren't generally allowed into care homes. But you can easily film the perimeter and the outside. And by filming the outside, I can see that most of the carers drive to this place of work because it's in the countryside by the village of the Kirkton of Skene. Another issue here is that those that work in care homes don't live locally. The car enables transport from further afield, boosts job opportunities, but actually there could be merit in local jobs for local workers. Although when Gordon Brown tried that, British jobs for British workers, there was uproar. But the merit of local jobs for local people is it's better on the environment, a better environmental impact. But people tend not to consider the environment and the environmental impact. That's obvious by the number of trees that are still lying around in April 2022 after Storm Arwen wreaked havoc on the 26th of November 2021. A storm in November is still being felt and has left its mark in April 2022. There's trees lying around in various places, not being dealt with. Lots of stumps remain at the back of Hazelhead Academy, for example. And just recently, there were still trees down blocking paths by Hazelhead Park. I mean, this is significant. People need to take an interest in the natural world, take photos of where trees are down and tell people that can make a difference. make a real difference for an environmental clean-up operation. Knowing where trees have fallen down to alert people is a challenge. You need to go around, get closer to the sites of environmental destruction, and often it's easier with mobile technology, mobile cameras and cycling. Because when you cycle, you can see, you get closer to the sites where there's trouble, environmental trouble, within an urban environment. Aberdeen is a large city, a sprawling metropolis, if you like, but it's not a mega city like London and Tokyo. So you can easily cycle around the city, and when you go around paths, you get nearer to parks and green spaces, and that's where most of the trees are. Devon Road was where the 60-year-old mum died, when a tree came down at Eric Henry Park. Through her windscreen, I imagine. That's the danger with driving. When you're on a bike, the dangers are actually less, because bikes are agile. You can avoid hazards, and also going slower, you get more time to react. Reactions. You need to have quick reactions to drive a car when you're travelling at higher speeds. The result is greater risk of accidents. Here's a rabbit on the ground at the Kirkton of Skene. There's multiple rabbits running. This is the joy of being outside. You see wildlife. Rabbits can be wild. Wildlife in the grounds of Sanctuary Care Pitcairn Lodge. You've got to be quick, because rabbits run away and burrow in holes. I mean, this is Sanctuary Care Pitcairn Lodge, up close and personal with heavy machinery. There's some sort of construction work. These grounds are not exactly very nice for the old folk that live here. This is retirement. Reality. No one takes an interest in the older people really, except for carers and nurses, but they're busy doing jobs and they're paid. That's another issue. Paid a salary, remuneration for the pleasure to care. Caring for people that can be forgetful, with senile dementia, who can also be aggressive. I mean, it's no picnic. So, paying them well is also important. But sprucing up these grounds and having an outdoor area for the older people to enjoy, to sit on benches, to chat to each other in the summer when the sun is shining, walk to the Bothy 57 for an ice cream. That's quality of life. Who takes an interest in the older people? We all get old and we slow down. But you're more likely to be mobile for longer and be more productive if you embrace active forms of transport. The nurses are not doing this, so they're going to need care one day themselves. That's the bottom line. You need to think about the older people. Put them first, and the vulnerable people in communities. Because when you start making improvements for people that are more vulnerable, some people are confined to wheelchairs. When you make improvements for people that are more vulnerable, you make improvements for everyone across the board. This is the notion behind universal usability. The birds are singing here. The older people could have a lovely time in the backyard at the Kirkton of Skene. There's no one around to listen to me. That's Kirkton House, an often run down house. The birds are singing. If this outdoor area, there's not much outdoor area to the care home, it's fenced off. I don't know if this land belongs to the care home, but sprucing it up would really improve the quality of life and the time older people have left. They could chat to each other on benches, picnic benches. Just let the day go by. Older people outside mingling about creates interest and attracts people who might want to document what they've witnessed with their lives. Older people often have stories to tell, tales to tell. It's all very well them talking, but someone needs to listen and write down their tales. But it's best to shoot video. It's more natural and it preserves the lives of individuals. Most people have a significant existence. It would be pleasing to spruce up this land. Who's responsible for it? We need to find out. Campaign to improve sanctuary care, Pitcairn Lodge and the surrounding environment. To improve the quality of life in years ahead for people in their 60s now, 50s and 60s, working class people doing jobs, trades, fixing houses, joiners, electricians, people that really do back-breaking work and can suffer with health complaints. You don't appreciate what the older people are suffering until you break an arm or a leg. This is reality, and yet some people are born disabled, physically disabled, in wheelchairs. They need mechanical hoist, taxis and automation to get into the taxi. Buses seldom don't go to where people want to go. This is the reality. Bikes enable transport to places where actually cars can't go. You can go to woodland areas and forests and parks and witness environmental destruction. Actually, there's quite a lot of people that live in Antarctica. You might not realise that. They work and study the landscape, surrounded by penguins. Listen to the birds, the call of Mother Nature. Geology education right here, everybody. April 2022 on the path to King's Head Road between Blacktop Woods well, Blacktop Woods is that way. I just came from that way, from the road that runs through Blacktop. Geology is the study of rocks, and you can see rocks here. This is still the path to Hillhead Road. It seems to be part of the Westfield estate, off the road that runs through Blacktop, on the opposite side of Kingshill Wood. It's all in Aberdeen City, and I mean, this path was overgrown. You can see how environmental services are the future, along with digital services. Digital connectivity in the great outdoors. That's a mobile, flexible workforce. That's the view of the Scottish Government, and that's their vision. Birds are singing, the birds are calling, and there's banging and hammering. That's man-made destruction along with the natural world, all rolled into one. Running water, birds singing, the Westfield estate, path to Hillhead Road. From Blacktop Woods. I see Blacktop Woods are on one side of the Tyrebagger Road, on the other side there's Kingshill Wood. This is geography, local to West Hill in the northeast of Scotland, in April 2022, just to be clear. Local geography. Geography education starts now. Geography teachers tend not to take pupils out into the natural world on a regular basis. It happens once in a blue moon, if it happens at all. As I recall, it happened once when I was at school. A trip to the West Hill Industrial Estate. And with the science teacher, I went to Arnhall Moss. That was science. A better science trip. A better trip with the science teacher than with the geography teacher. To appreciate geography and geology, you need to get out into the natural world. Field trips, very much necessary, and need to be more frequent going forward. This is a call to arms. A call to arms for geography teachers to take pupils on field trips. Explore the natural world. Local. You don't need to go far. I haven't gone far. Off the beaten track in April 2022, I guess you can't get knocked down by a car through here. It's muddy underfoot. This is a path that's off the Tyrebagger and seems to head in the direction of Bealdside. From what I can gather, this is the general direction. I'm not entirely clear where it comes out at this point in time, but it's muddy. Yellow gorse, a common sight in Scottish springtime. 11th of April 2022. That's Kingswells in the distance. Just to orientate yourself, there's the bridge with life-saving barriers that runs over the Aberdeen bypass. This road is not in great condition. So Kingswells is in the distance. There's a new tree plantation next to the Aberdeen bypass. Denburn livery stud is across the bypass, linking to Kings Wells. This is the Aberdeen bypass. New tree plantation, fast traffic. Video provides context when you move it around. Talk at the same time, providing a description, a narrative, which fosters understanding, greater understanding, to help looking back. I mean, I remember where I am now, but will I remember this time next year? This is the advantage of sharing video, because when you share and upload, the date and time gets documented. Technology enables us to look back. That's a fact. And this is the Aberdeen bypass on the 11th of April 2022. And if you zoom in, you can see there is signs on the Aberdeen bypass. A sign approaching the turn-off on the A944, the West Hill to Kings Wells Road. So there are signs, but the sign is right by the turn-off. I mean, there's no... Well, actually there is, if you look back, there's an advance warning sign, a sign to the park and ride, but it doesn't point to West Hill. And this is from people that come further north, Peterhead. The sign that points to West Hill and has a description is right by the turn-off. So you've got to make a quick snap decision. There are signs on the Aberdeen bypass, but looking at the close proximity to the sign and the turn-off, you can see there's no advance warning. So I mean, you can find yourself in Stonehaven before you know it. This is for people that come from Peterhead, that work at oil offices in West Hill. But people probably don't come from Peterhead. They could come from Blackdog. The Aberdeen bypass speeds up or boosts productivity, and the road enables workers to come from further afield. I mean, the bypass opens up employment opportunities, but then with it there's reliance on oil to power the car. It's a vicious circle. I don't want to go into the detail, but you see my points. Am I making sense? I mean, it was reported last year or the year before that oil-powered cars are going to be banned from sale in 2030. So electric is the future of motoring. And electric car charging stations are at the Park and Ride in Kings Wells and popping up in various places around the city of Aberdeen and also Scotland. This is a fact. So the trend is towards electric cars, but electric cars take time to charge. You've got to unplug them. Get out your car to unplug them. They take time. I mean, I guess oil and electric and hydrogen and diesel provide a mix of sustainable or energy for transport, but oil is not sustainable. Electric is. Massive challenges ahead. Massive challenges lie ahead. Just look at this. This is the Aberdeen bypass around 4 p.m. on a Monday. Monday the 11th of April 2022. I know it's Monday because yesterday was Sunday. Just look at the traffic. The Aberdeen Bypass, also called the Aberdeen Western Periphery Route. It was the longest construction project for a UK road in the history of the country, said the Scottish Government. The longest construction project. Well, it might be because the man that was opposing it originally moved away from the area. That may be why it went ahead. The man opposing it moved away. He didn't want it through his property, so he moved, and then it was built. This is why it took so long. But the Aberdeen Bypass does also cut right through the countryside, and far off in the distance there's West Hill, industrial units, oil offices. This is natural history. The only way to preserve natural history really is to shoot video. And providing a narrative provides context, orientation, explains, justifies. I mean, journalists don't do this traditionally. Not journalists working for the Press and Journal. They don't go around on bikes. They use cars, going to work in offices. There's a problem with traditional news. I mean, Scotland can be quite an attractive country. It's the most photographed in the world. This is live coverage of the Aberdeen Bypass around 4 p.m. on the 11th of April 2022. As you can see, nothing's happening. The traffic's all going smoothly. No accidents. And it's all going fast too. The lorries are going slower. Live coverage. Live coverage can be uneventful when no accidents happen. And that's another issue with the Press and Journal. They focus on car accidents, people killed, people going to court and assaults. A lot of coverage gets produced when people are violent. When people go to court, they're forced to defend their actions. This is the reality. And there's a lot of people that are law-abiding, and nothing gets written about them. Tree plantation for the Aberdeen Bypass, and there's Prime 4 Business Park on the outskirts of Kingswells. This road is in terrible condition. Look at the stones. And the road has life-saving barriers connecting Denburn Livery Stud to Brigadier on the edge of West Hill. I mean, this road would benefit from upgrade work, road improvements through here. But I imagine the owners of Denburn Livery Stud would take opposition. But improving the road surface would certainly benefit people in future. Cycling past horses and sheep. Horses from Denburn Livery Stud. Sheep from Holstein Farm by Brigadier. No, Holstein's Farm. Well, yes, it might have sheep. It's got cows in a barn. Holstein's Farm. I don't know where the sheep come from that appear near there. But I mean, Aberdeenshire and Aberdeen City on the edge by Kingswells is all rural. Lots of farmland. Kingswells is on the edge of Aberdeen, set amongst countryside, with the Aberdeen Bypass the Aberdeen Western Periphery route, going right through the countryside. That was the vision of Jack McConnell. Remember him? Now Lord McConnell. He also sowed the seeds for curriculum for excellence, lifelong learning. I mean, every First Minister has his strengths and weaknesses. April 11th, 2022. And there's a path, a muddy path, that runs through the Yellow Gorse, through King's Wells. And it comes out here, by the bridge. I know where I am. This road, that road leads to the sweeping road that sweeps round King's Wells. It's a dangerous road. So I don't really want to go that way on my bike. But just look down here. You see the Yellow Gorse. No water. I thought there was water below this bridge, but perhaps it's at the other side. I thought I knew where I was. Is there more than one bridge in King's Wells? Yes, there is water down there. A wee stream. A trickle of a stream. Yes, that's the road that leads to the road that sweeps round King's Wells. I do recognise this road. There's a cycle path off it that leads into Aberdeen. A path with steps. That's if I've got the right road. I think I know where I am. I don't live in King's Wells. It's a maze of residential streets, just to be clear. But I have come through it, time and time again.